Good morning, everyone. Good morning also to the viewing public. Good morning to everyone in the gallery. Good morning, members, for being here. Today is May 31st, 2024, and this is the House Standing Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations. It is now 10:15, and I call this meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to get a motion for the adoption of today's agenda. There has been a motion to adopt today's agenda. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Today's agenda is now adopted. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comments. Anyone in the gallery who is wishing to provide their public comments is free to do so. Please keep your comments to 5 minutes and in regard to today's agenda. Thank you. Also, please state your name for the record, and if you have a hard copy of your comments, to please provide that to the Sergeant at Arms. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, esteemed members of this 23rd Commonwealth Legislature. Madam Chair, I know you indicated 5 minutes. I'm here to provide comments for 3 of the bills. Can I do 15? But just I'm going to be mindful of the time. So real quick, I'm here to provide comments for HB 23-64 to authorize the CNMI Department of Corrections to pay inmates and establish work programs. And also for the new business for House Bill 23-105 to integrate the Board of Parole into the Department of Corrections. And also a little bit of comments that I'd like to provide for HB 23-106 to establish a police reserve unit within the Department of Public Safety. So I'm going to do the shortest and quickest one with the last one, to establish a police reserve unit. I support that. And but I'd also like us to take a look and maybe doing a reserve unit for the Department of Corrections. I'm not fully prepared to give full comments on that, but hopefully we can revisit this eventually. So Hafere, again, Tanturo, buenas and good morning, honorable members of this esteemed 23rd Northern Marianas. I stand before you today as your Commissioner of Corrections to advocate for the integration of the parole system under the jurisdiction of the Department of Corrections. I would also like to address you all with a proposal that stands to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of our criminal justice system. The transition from incarceration to freedom is a critical phase in an individual's journey towards rehabilitation and successful reintegration into society. By bringing the parole system within the purview of the DOC, we will be able to provide a seamless continuum of care and supervision for individuals under our charge. The DOC is already continuously working to being at the forefront of providing rehabilitation services and preparing individuals for their return to society. By extending our responsibilities to include parole, we can ensure a more coordinated approach to reentry with a focus on continuity of care and support. Consolidating the parole system within the DOC will not only streamline processes, but also allow for better collaboration and communication between all stages of the justice system. This integration will enable us to provide more personalized and effective support to individuals as they navigate the challenges of reentering society. A growing body of evidence and practice suggests that the prisons in America are re-examining the balance between reducing recidivism, protecting the public, maintaining safe and secure institutions, and other crucial objectives are getting it right. Without a doubt, one of the most effective ways to improve public safety and reduce prison populations is to marshal resources toward a primary goal. Once offenders leave state institutions, they don't come back. Reentry has fast become the hottest buzzword in prison management across the country in America, with nearly every state corrections department now placing some focus on the concept. However, agencies vary widely in the comprehensiveness and effectiveness of implementation. The best states in this regard have completely reevaluated the missions of departments to include recidivism reduction alongside other crucial objectives, such as protecting the public and maintaining safe and secure institutions. So, again, diving in a little bit into the weeds of parole coming under DOC. If parole fell under DOC, we would have parole policies and procedures aligned with the broader rehabilitation, reintegration, and reduction of recidivism goals. By offering parole, the department will aim to promote the successful reentry of individuals into society while reducing the likelihood of repeating criminal behavior. Parole allows inmates to reintegrate gradually with support and supervision while maintaining a sense of responsibility and accountability. So, by assessing eligibility and setting specific parole conditions, DOC would prioritize the rehabilitation of inmates and their successful integration back into the community. This approach emphasizes addressing underlying issues that may contribute to criminal behavior, such as substance abuse or mental health issues. Moreover, the close supervision provided by parole officers helps to mitigate potential risks and increase the chances of successful rehabilitation and reduced recidivism rates. Overall, I would have DOC's parole policies and procedures work as a part of a comprehensive system aimed at promoting rehabilitation, reintegration, and reducing recidivism by providing inmates with an opportunity to transition back into society while maintaining accountability and support. So, in summary, some of the innovations and initiatives that I would implement would be the following: risk assessment tools, evidence-based programs, enhanced support services, collaboration with community organizations, data-driven decision-making. That's just an outline of a little bit of what we would do once parole comes under DOC. But now, switching a little bit over, I provided comments. My apologies, Madam Chair. We've been working on it all week. I provided it at the 11th hour yesterday. A bill for an act for parole to come, but to also amend the law to change the name of the Department of Corrections to the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, or DCR. It's to allow flexibility with hiring and structure to accurately reflect the structure of the DOC or DCR, and to allow those who have committed crimes outside of the CNMI to be housed in the CNMI prison. So this is, from going from DOC to DCR, it's a paradigm shift, right? Hawaii just went from DOC to DCR. You got Arizona, that's DCR. You got California, that's DCR. This is going to open up so much more federal granting opportunities, right? For DCR, if we would have a CNMI DCR. So the legislation finds that there is a need for legislative change to encompass all aspects of corrections and rehabilitation and establish a comprehensive DCR. The legislature finds that Public Law 14-25 was signed into law on August 20th of 2004. The law established the DOC, a new department within the executive branch. The CNMA vision for corrections was one that rejects business as usual with an eye toward a model that provides security but also aids offenders in their transition to responsible, productive, and law-abiding lives. Has the best qualified individuals as officers, maintain security, use excess prison capacity in a creative and cost-effective manner. We will be exploring ways to house offenders from other jurisdictions. Should this be undertaken, it would be limited to housing within the prison. Individuals would be removed from Saipan upon completion of their sentence. Build a model of rehabilitation so offenders return to society with the skills to lead a productive life and avoid future criminal conduct. This will be an effort undertaken with new leadership for the DCR. Other agencies of government, the private sector, and members of the public will also be invited to join this effort. For us to be truly successful, we will have a prison that is not a dead end, but a stepping stone back to a stronger and safer community. So the legislature finds that executive number 2011-05 transferred, and this is also adding to DCR, right? Juvenile Detention Unit to the management and control of DOC. So in summary, for the sake of time, we would also ask to include JDU to fall under DOC, because right now we're only operating as an executive order, right? But still maintain DYS, facilitating all the programs, ensuring it'll be a collaboration, right? So the law needs to change the name of DOC to DCR. I touched on that to accurately reflect the shift in policy and practices of the department. So in doing that, I know I indicated some changes in the summary. In summary, again, in summary, we would like for DCR to continue to provide DCR that we would have departments or divisions of corrections or rehabilitation, which would be responsible for adult detention and correctional service. That's one. Juvenile detention and correctional services, civil detention, and adult offender reentry and rehabilitation through parole. So that's three, right? So adults, juveniles, parole. Under parole, we would continue to have our outreach program. We would continue to build reentry in collaboration with SAR. And am I still good on time?
Commissioner, I'll give you about 3 more minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. So we all know that it'll be best to have parole come under DOC. Give me the opportunity to be the expenditure authority, to be the rational authority, to be the chief of parole. And I will have systems and processes in place to oversee the parole division. I will be in charge of operations. The board would be separate. It could be a board that's appointed by the governor or by myself, with everything that's in place with how to fill the board, right? So we need to separate the parole responsibilities through the DOC, through DCR, which I touched on. The Board of Parole staff deleted. Adult diversion program is a separate entity. Okay. So I urge you to consider this proposition with the utmost care and deliberation. By entrusting the DOC with parole responsibilities, we have the opportunity to create a more cohesive, compassionate, and successful pathway for individuals seeking to rebuild their lives after incarceration. And I also want to make quick comments on the bill for inmate pay and establish your work programs. I support the initiative to introduce pay for inmates and establish work programs within our system. The fundamental principles behind paying inmates for their work is to instill a sense of purpose, responsibility, and dignity. By compensating inmates for their contributions through work programs, we can empower them with the opportunity to learn new skills, gain a sense of accomplishment, and develop a strong work ethic. Introducing pay for inmates is not just about providing financial compensation. It is about promoting a culture of accountability and self-improvement. By offering inmates the chance to earn wages for their labor, we can motivate them to engage in constructive activities, enhance their employability post-release, and reduce the likelihood of recidivism. By establishing work programs within our DCR, we can create meaningful opportunities for inmates to gain practical experience, develop vocational skills, and prepare for successful reintegration into our community. These programs can range from educational initiatives, vocational training, which we're already doing with NMTech, equipping individuals with the tools they need to build a better future for themselves and their communities. So I support that. And I'm also here to advocate, and I'm continuously every day with my staff finding ways to generate revenue, right? For the last year since I've been in this role, we've been doing a lot of outreach work free of charge, right? Local government agencies will provide the materials, drinks, a little bit of snacks, what have you, gas, line for the bush cutters. We can't sustain the program just doing free services. So I know you folks here have been very generous in donating, bush cutters, lawnmowers, and what have you. But with the support of the governor and lieutenant governor for a lot of the maintenance that we've been doing, we're requesting for journal vouchers. We need to pay our CUC. We need to sustain it. I need to run this program like a business. I'm not trying to make profit. I'm just trying to keep it I'm trying to sustain it. And then if we can expand on that with the inmate pay, then we can start offering inmate pay, right? But I love the flexibility that you're giving me to establish that. So in summary, again, thank you very much for your time. Don't glue si Juice Mossy and let's work on turning the DOC into DCR, Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And for the record, yes, you did provide me your comments in regard to some of your comments that you had just earlier expressed. So I will disseminate that, and I believe that's been disseminated to the rest of the committee members. Thank you. The floor is still open for public comments. Okay, being that there's none, we'll move right along. Next item on our agenda is old business. And the first item is House Bill 2358 to amend 9 CMC 2116 to provide for the identification of combat veteran, combat disabled veteran, Purple Heart, Gold Star family, and Silver Star veterans on the vehicle license plate and for other purposes. Discussion? Recognize Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I feel like 2358's been sitting in the committee's agenda for quite some time now. I know that the Speaker had referred this to two committees, one under FFA and JGO. I feel like the committee's ready to move on this. So with that, I'd like to move that we produce a committee report for passage. There's no objection.
There's been a motion for House Bill 2358 to be passed in this committee, for the committee to furnish a report for the next session. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Cam, please prepare the committee report. The next item is House Bill 2364, HS1. Recognize Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioner, and thank you for your very detailed comments. We appreciate that. Unfortunately, Madam Chair, what's reflected in our agenda today is reflecting the House Substitute 1 version, which we're supposed to be acting on, House Bill 23-64. So with that, I'd like to respectfully ask that we hold this legislation for next committee so that we can properly act on any proposed amendments. With that, I move that, or I don't make that. I don't want to make the motion, but thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And I think with the extensive comments that the Commissioner has made, this will allow the committee to integrate a majority of his comments to perfect the bill in which he is seeking. Obviously, we do support his endeavor as he is spearheading this department. And I believe that his mission and his goals and objectives and the vision for this agency is commendable. So at this time, can we just please move on to the next item on the
Madam Chair, if I may be recognized, before we move, just wanted to find out, is the Vice Chair saying that this substitute just came in, or it has been sitting as well in the committee because it's old business? And are we expecting another substitute? I'm just for clarification, what are we holding this back for?
Thank you, Rep. Sablan. And it's unfortunate that you did not attend this morning's session or meeting when we were discussing this. Apparently, the author of the bill isn't here to support his substitute. I believe the last time we had this on the agenda, he was going to provide the substitute. Unfortunately, the author is not here, and we did not have that meeting to discuss at the last meeting that he was going to be offering a substitute. So the substitute got tangled in all of the comments and all of the legislation that the mover or the author was trying to move. And because the mover and the author is not present to defend his substitute, I, as the chairwoman, now would like to leave this on the agenda until Rep Castro comes back to defend his bill.
So clarified, Madam Chairwoman. And with that notion, do you have also plans to solicit comments with other agency? I know that our good Commissioner of DOC had already provided comments. So what is the plan? My apologies that I didn't come earlier to your set informal meeting, but if we can just state it for the record in
So
this
for the
subcommittee.
record, yes, we will be soliciting more. If you notice from there was a small change, which was the caption of the bill. The intent of the bill remains the same. However, because the author is not here, we don't know if he will be offering another substitute of the substitute that he already intended to offer today. So at this time, we'd like to just leave it on the table, and we will wait for the author to offer additional substitutes. We will be seeking again additional substitute on this substitute bill that is on the agenda. Recognize Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, if I may provide some more point of clarification. On our next committee meeting, we will be acting on House Bill 2364, and then the proposed amendments will be proposed on that committee meeting, which will be the proper procedure. Thank you.
Recognize Rep Patel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think there's just confusion with the Rep Sablon because the agenda reflects House Substitute One, but we never entertained 2364 to adopt a substitute version. And I believe that the commissioner had provided his comments, and with his comments and his submission to the bill, there's additional stuff that we need to address, and I believe that it's a reflection of the original law that created the Department of Corrections, and now we're looking at a name change. So we may have to use 2364 as a vehicle to go back to the original law that created the Department of Corrections to make these changes, so we can make it a uniform legislation rather than going piece by piece. So we can make everything that's presented by the author and the comments made by the commissioner, his submission of potential amendments that we will be entertaining, to make sure that we take the original enactment and make the changes in that original law, rather than making multiple changes when reflecting different laws to address the Department of Corrections. So I think it's just confusion from with Rep Sablon, that we have a substitute version when we know for a fact we've never entertained it. Entertained 2364.
Short recess, please. sorry about that. We're now back in session. And my apologies for that short recess. We will go back and we will now, once again, recognize Vice Chair in regard to 2364.
Madam Chair, I believe I just respectfully ask that we just hold 2364 until we can act on it on our next committee meeting. Thank you.
With no objections, we'll move along to the next item. House Bill 23-100 to provide the issuance of certificates as certified public accountants to regulate the practice of accountancy in the public interest and to establish a board of accountancy and prescribe the powers and duties for other purposes. Discussion. Ready. Recognize Rep. Probst.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the support for this bill and the importance of it. I thank you for that. The initial concern from talking to different small businesses and business in general was that they were afraid that this would somehow impact their bookkeepers, and I can assure you that that does not in any case. And furthermore, this is important to certify and update who exactly is a certified public accountant. It's a very important bill that is long overdue for standards and ensuring standards here in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Probst. At this time, I'd like to recognize Rep. Camacho.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that said, thank you to the author, Rep. Probst. I'd like to move that we have Mr. Cam Nicholas or Mr. Nick Raboniman facilitate a committee report for the passage of House Bill 23-100. So move.
There's been a motion to have the committee provide its report in regard to House Bill 23-100. Can I get a second? And it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Senate Bill 2313 to strengthen the mandate of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Archives at the Northern Marianas College. Discussion. Ready? All right. Recognize Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we request the House Legislative Assistants to furnish a committee report for the passage of Senate Bill 23-13. So move.
There's been a motion to have the legal assistants produce a committee report in regard to Senate Bill 23-13. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Cam, please prepare, or Mr. Nick. Moving along, new business, House Bill 23-105 to integrate the Board of Parole into the Department of Corrections. Discussion. Ready. Recognize Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I'd like to hereby request the House Legislative Assistants to furnish a committee report for the passage of House Bill 23-105. So move.
There's been a motion on the floor to pass and approve House Bill 23-105 and to create the committee report for the next session. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, House Bill 23-106 to establish a police reserve unit within the Department of Public Safety. Recognize Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Our earlier discussion prior to our committee meeting, 105. I do know that there was some comments submitted by the Attorney General's office for incorporation into House Bill 23-106, and with that, I'd like to respectfully ask that we hold on to this legislation and give our legal counsel ample time to incorporate those proposed amendments. Thank you, Chair.
With no objection, can we allow more time for House Bill 23106 to be given? With no objection coming from Rep. Sablon, we now would like for this bill to go to the legal attorney counsel for submission of the comments made by the Attorney General, and also to include the comments that were presented to us by the Commissioner. This may take some time, so we'll just move this along until such insertions of the comments are made on House Bill 23106. Next item, 23107, to repeal the salaries of the commissioners of the Commonwealth Casino Commission and the CNMI Cannabis Commission, and to require that these commissioners receive compensation in accordance with 1 CMC 8247. Discussion. Recognize Rep. Atel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think when we met earlier that we were going to hold on to this legislation because we need to address the enabling act of these respective entities. I think, again, in today's article is obviously true, no, that the casino commission's already coming out and saying that we should consider 3 casino licenses or potentially more here on the island of or in the Commonwealth. But that's going to be under discussion for this body or even our counterparts in the Senate. I do understand the intent of the legislation and its effects to our boards and commissions, but again, we should go back to the enabling legislations that that created the Casino Commission and the Cannabis Commission, rather than having this separate from their enabling act. With that being said, with no objections from the members, I hope that we can agree to hold on to this legislation and address it on a later date with 2 separate legislations, rather than putting the Casino Commission and the Cannabis Commission in a separate code in its representation for their commissioners, respective commissioners. And that's, I hope that you guys are okay with that, and I move that we hold on to this legislation. So
Thank you, members. And with no objection, we will now just hold House Bill 23107, and we shall look together as a committee and go back to the public laws that establish these commissions, and let's revisit that and take a look, because looking towards the future, we want a uniform set of standards for all commissions and boards. So with that said, we'll leave this on the agenda. Let's go back, revisit, perfect it, make it better. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous. Okay. And the last item on the agenda is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? There's been a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen, for your presence.